Hello and welcome back to another video here on the Product Pup, where we talk about all things tech, business, startups, ideas, product, and everything related. In today's video, I am showing you a very typical work day in the life of a tech product manager and side project entrepreneur. It's Tuesday today, and Tuesdays are typically my busiest day of the week with my full-time job. And I also obviously like to balance that with working on my side projects, which I will typically have a little bit less time and mental capacity for on a Tuesday because of such a hectic work day. But I still like to get a few things done, and I want to show you how. My plan is to take you through every task that I have to do in my role as a product manager. Obviously, I can't show you the actual information because that's sensitive and confidential, but I will try and go super into depth into exactly what my task is, what the purpose of it is, who is involved, and why we are doing it. I hope that will be useful. This is a glimpse of what my calendar looks like today. So it is Tuesday. You can see it's already about midday. I've had a couple of meetings. I'm going to talk about what I did for each of those and what I'm doing in between. And then I have 6 back-to-back. So I'm going to tell you what is going on in each of those, what I prepped, what I plan to cover, the purpose, who's involved, rah. A lot of my side projects at the moment do revolve around TikTok and YouTube. Today for my side projects, I will be planning out my next month's newsletter. I will be doing some brainstorming on future YouTube ideas. I will be doing some planning to batch film some TikToks, and also helping a friend with a startup. So yeah, actually that's a lot of stuff that I have to do on a pretty already busy Tuesday. So let's get started. The first meeting I had for the day was an architecture review. So who was involved? Architecture, engineering, and myself representing product. The context of the meeting was we have been looking at an external vendor and their product that we might like to use. Our architecture team did a review to see if they agree with this external vendor's technology being suitable for us. Does it meet our internal technology standards? Is it scalable? Is it reliable? Is it something that would fit into our technology's tech stack? The purpose of the meeting was to have architecture walk through their review document, which went over the things that I had just mentioned, and for us to understand why they arrived at the recommendation that they did. This meeting was ultimately for a product that I own. The product doesn't yet exist, so I'm actually doing some discovery work on that. So I didn't have to do any particular prep work for this meeting apart from reading the document that architecture had prepared and being ready to answer questions and ask questions about their recommendation. We also briefly touched on building versus buying. So if you're a company and you need a product, when should you consider building it yourself versus when should you consider actually buying it and taking what already exists and implementing it, or outsourcing? Really interesting conversation. I'm really looking forward to wrapping up this project and then being able to share how I approached discovery work. The outcome of the meeting was to decide, are we going ahead with this third-party tool? If not, what are the next steps to figuring out how we're going to bring this particular product to life? The second meeting I had was at 10:30 with my team's engineering manager. This is one of my favorite meetings because it's really just a catch up. It's like a one-on-one, not so much a meeting. And in this, we talk about team challenges, team capacity, delivery, timelines, prioritization. We will, just generally share our observations around what's going on in the company. It's really for us to get 30 minutes of uninterrupted time to just talk about things that are going to help our team move forward. Of course, you should have a very good relationship with your engineering manager. It's great when you're actually in the office because you can use these times to go for a coffee together or go for lunch. So it does feel a bit more like a meeting these days, but nonetheless, they are still really important to have to maintain, build relationships and rapport. Meeting number 3 was at 2 o'clock with my manager. We do a weekly catch up. Sometimes it takes the full hour, sometimes it takes 30 minutes like it did today, and it's just a time for me to ask him questions, for him to share any notable updates with me, and for him to ask me questions. It's a great time for me to discuss with him if I'm struggling to navigate a particular situation. My company is extremely autonomous. There's a lot of trust put in every team and on every person. So my check-ins with my manager are really for me to get guidance from him if I need it, and for him to kind of have a sense of what I'm doing. We have a Google Doc that we keep updated when we think of ideas for what we want to chat about at our next weekly catch-up. And yeah, we'll generally go through those. We'll talk about what's coming up in terms of product strategy. We'll talk about team challenges, capacity, a little bit of delivery. He'll share some ideas for, you know, what he thinks the future direction of my product area might look like, and give me some things to start thinking about. And yeah, it really kind of guides me and nudges me in the right direction, which is really helpful. At 2:45, I had my team retro. We do our retros every 2 weeks. We try to, sometimes we do push them out. And yeah, we use Trello. We go in, take about 10 minutes to write down our thoughts on retro items to discuss, things that we're really happy with, things that need to change, and we just go through and discuss those. Today's was a pretty short one. In retros, I do take more of a back seat, and I really leave it as a forum for the engineering team to discuss things. I of course partake. I also really want it to be a place where they feel comfortable in sharing their thoughts and their feedback and suggesting new ways of doing things, and being comfortable with saying what isn't working well. And yeah, I think we all know how retros are run. If you want any tips on how to run your retros, I'm definitely no retro expert, but I can share how we do that, so let me know in the comments. I'm very happy to report that 2 of my meetings this afternoon got moved. So at 3:30, I had a meeting with my team's product designer. We usually meet on a weekly basis. He is a part of our development team, but he doesn't always come to our stand-ups. It really depends on the nature of the project that he's working on and whether there is a need for him to attend stand-ups daily. So at our meeting, we have a Google Doc that we keep updated and throw in there the things that we want to discuss on a weekly basis. Normally the things we discuss are prioritization. So what design work he should be focusing on. I try and give him a heads up and keep him informed of what's coming up like in the future for us, what the thinking is, so it's not a surprise. At the moment, we are kind of transitioning into some new product work that my team will be picking up. So we've been doing a lot of discovery and customer interviews. He's been mocking up a lot of different designs that we want to validate. So we're always trying, so today in particular, we talked about customer recruitment and how we can try and identify the best customers to show some of our designs to. We also have a new designer joining our team in a few weeks. So we talked about the onboarding for her, making sure we give her a good onboarding experience. Guys, I have one more meeting left for the day, which is at 4 p.m. and it's a team leadership meeting. So the team leadership meeting is between the product managers of my product area. So there's 3 of us. Then there are all the tech leads, and then there are all the team leads, so, or engineering managers. So there's 9 of us, and then there's my group product manager, and then kind of like group engineering manager. So we meet on a weekly basis to discuss things that impact our product group as a whole. And we have a lot to discuss in these meetings typically. We have, again, a Google Doc attached to the invite where everyone will throw in the things that they want to discuss. You know, in these sessions, we discuss team strategy. We discuss problems that each team might be having and how we might be able to solve for that as a group. We talk about how we present our group's delivery, technical delivery and product strategy up to product and engineering leadership. Like, how is our team and how is our group being presented at the company's executive level? Planning, head counts, getting new resources, all of that kind of stuff. We also talk about, you know, structure within the team. Do we want to do rotations? How are individual team members going? Do we want to introduce new roles in the teams? These kind of things is what we discuss. We go to this meeting now, and once I'm back, I'm going to share the work that I've been doing in between all these meetings. I also have something that I really need to finish by 12 o'clock tomorrow, and I'm going to share that with you when I'm done. Meetings for the day are done, and it's 5 o'clock. But I'm going to show you the things that I was working on in between the meetings, because the reality on a meeting full day is sometimes you don't get anything done, and sometimes you don't have a choice and you have to get some stuff done between meetings. The work I did in between my meetings was for what we call a monthly product review. It's basically a 7-minute presentation every single month that we give to our product executive team and engineering executive team as well. So I have to spend, you know, a few hours every month preparing for that. The purpose of this meeting is to keep our product executive team informed of what different teams are doing and are shipping. It's also a great way to get some team brand out into the company in front of people who have influence at the company. It's a great way as a product manager to represent your team. We share our delivery plan and what we're planning to release in the coming quarter and next quarter. We highlight any concerns, any risks, any dependencies, and we also have time for discussion. It's a great opportunity to advocate for your team, to showcase work that the team has done and really get your team's brand out there to the rest of the company. I had to pull some metrics for my product usage and adoption stats, and I still haven't completely finished, but I'll probably finish this off tomorrow. What I'm going to do now really quickly is jump onto Medium and draft the structure of an article that I want to post, and then I'm going to jump into my MailChimp account and set out a structure for my newsletter for the next month. I hopped off a call earlier with a friend of mine who has a startup, and they actually are using my company's product to manage their startup's customer support. And so I had a call with them to help them work through what setting that up might look like. And what I'm actually doing now is just testing out a few things for them so I can help them. The product I mentioned that helps to automatically deflect customer queries is called AnswerBot. Check it out if you are interested in, you know, a customer support tool that helps you to automatically close customer queries. So I've just spent about 15 minutes, not very long, putting together a very high-level structure for my newsletter for February. My tip for you, if you struggle to just sit down and think of ideas when you're writing something or even creating something a bit more creative, is to break that process up over a period of a few days. Don't even have a title yet. I'll think of one at the end. I'm going to have a bit of an intro, and my intro is going to be something about the new year and sharing my goals, and then I'm going to encourage, like, my call to action for everyone reading this will be to write their goals down, but I want to explain why. Then I have a section for my newsletter, which is like my curated content for that month. So podcasts, books, YouTube video, article, and just general thought. This is something new that I'm starting. I've only really started my newsletter. So now that I have these categories, I have so much content, I can actually think about the best picks. Then I'm going to have my latest uploads linked, and then I'm going to end with a thought-provoking question. On day one, I take 15 minutes at the most, and I outline the structure of the newsletter. Then tomorrow, I might pick it up again, because now the structure is in my head. So when I'm going about my day, when I'm trying to sleep, maybe when I'm dreaming, I will actually think of better ideas for what I can put in this, rather than if I'm just sitting there trying to come up with it. So and if videos like this are helpful, please let me know. When you're only starting out, it's really hard to know because it feels like you're talking to no one. but I've been getting some good comments on my YouTube videos and my TikTok, so I'm really motivated to keep going.